We are here interviewing Coach Rick Squiers of the UNK volleyball team prior to next week's regional matchups. Coach, the first question I got for you today is the last time we spoke, it was prior to the Central Missouri and Washburn games. They closed out our regular season. Can you talk a little bit about what you saw as the keys to winning those contests?
Well, I think that primarily our girls just competed like crazy. We knew that both teams were talented. They had some offensive firepower, and I think we saw that in both matches. But eventually, just with some tenacity on defense, we were able to kind of problem solve our way through and catch them in a rotation or two where they had trouble getting a kill. And you know, there were really two separate matches. Against Central Missouri, it just seemed like we dug everything all night long, and we frustrated them, and the serving and passing game really favored us. And then they began to make some errors, and you know, things kind of came unraveled. At Washburn, it was kind of a tale of two halves, so to speak. The first two sets, they hit the ball extremely well. We couldn't stop them. We didn't block anything. We had 0 blocks after 2 sets. And then somehow we started getting some block touches from that point forward, and we ended up with 14 on the night, and they were all in the last 3 sets, which made a huge difference. And we were steady enough offensively ourselves that we had kind of the come-from-behind victory on the road, so big win for us.
Okay, and with those 2 wins, we became the regular season champs for the MIAA. And then by beating Central Oklahoma in the opening round of the conference tournament, we secured home court advantage for the rest of the tournament. What do you think are the pros and possibly the cons of playing on our home court for the conference championship?
Well, there really aren't a lot of cons as far as playing at home here in the Health and Sports Center. It's been a great venue for us over the years. Our girls love to play here. Obviously, we get a lot of fans, and they're knowledgeable volleyball fans, and so they're into it, and there's great energy here for us. So not only does that allow us to maybe raise our game a notch, but it is also very difficult for our opponents. They're not used to playing in front of this many people. It's a unique venue in that the quarters are kind of close. The fans are close to the action. There's not quite as much room around the court as maybe some of the other venues in the MIAA, so it makes them uncomfortable. And so between us being more comfortable and our opponents being less comfortable, it's a great home court advantage.
Okay, and then in the semifinals we played Emporia State and then took on Central Missouri for the second time in a week for the championship. Do you think it was easier to get the team ready for the Jennies since we had just played them rather than had it been another team we hadn't played in a while?
I think that we knew it was going to be Central or Washburn, and we have as much respect for either of those 2 programs as anybody in the country. So we would have been up to play Washburn. We were up to play Central. We knew that they had just come off a very emotional win the night before, a come-from-behind 5-setter against Washburn. So, you know, I think that me personally, I didn't really have a preference. I knew they'd both be tough matches. Now, the girls had just come off the 5-set match with Washburn, so it could very well be that they felt a little more comfortable playing Central at that point since we had swept them at home. But either team poses a lot of challenges, and fortunately we were able to deal with them.
Okay, and then on this past Sunday night, the regional field was announced, and we are the 3 seed behind Concordia St. Paul in southwest Minnesota. Discuss a little, if you would, the difficulty of our region and how that can affect the team going for a national championship berth.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunately, and you know, this isn't unique to Division II. It's probably similar in other sports as well, but it just so happens that in the Central region, all of the teams who are participating are really at an unfair disadvantage. In addition, there are teams that did not qualify for NCAA tournament play who are good enough to do so in a lot of other regions. So none of us like it. I mean, you won't be able to find a coach in the regional tournament who thinks that the fact that we have 8 nationally ranked teams playing in one regional to get one spot in the Elite Eight is fair. So we could sit around and debate that all day long and come up with alternatives, but at this stage of the game, that's what Division II wants to do, and we're all stuck with it. And so I think you have to do your best to embrace it and understand that if you can go play well and somehow make your way through the tournament and qualify for the Elite Eight, then you will be the most battle-tested team in the Elite Eight, and you will have an inside track at winning a national championship. On the other hand, in any sort of a tournament, there's probably nothing more important than concerning yourself with the first game, and so we have plenty to worry about with Washburn, even though we've played them twice already. They're very talented, and we'll have our work cut out for us to move on to the second round.
Okay, and then lastly, you touched on this towards the end of the last answer. Our first round match is against Washburn. This will be our third time playing them this year. How do you prepare for a squad that you've become familiar with?
Well, there's less legwork as far as tracking down film, breaking down rotations, all those sorts of things. So in one respect, neither one of us has to start from square one. So it's a little more fine-tuning. There are advantages and disadvantages of playing somebody for the third time. Certainly we should have a team that believes they can win against Washburn, since we've done that twice. On the other hand, Washburn is probably more in a problem-solving mode preparing for us than we are preparing for them. We feel like we have been successful against them, so probably human nature tells us that we need to continue to do what we're doing. In their case, they're probably working on a wrinkle or two that's going to be new when we play them next time, and so that would be something that we have to be ready to deal with when we get into that match. But I think mainly it's two really good teams playing, both very talented, competitive. Either team could win the regional, and there's not much margin for error in that match for either one of us.
Okay, thanks for your time, Coach, and good luck at regionals.
Thank you.